saying, but I got a new song. So we said, no problem. We'll play you the new song as well. But first, let's remember, Jessica, the last time we spoke was pre-COVID.
Yes.
That's so wild. That's maybe
2019.
But you still look the same. You're
So do
pretty.
you.
You must see on what?
You haven't changed.
Just smile away. Because music is in you. When music is in you, you can't stop making music. And you've been busy creating music all of this time.
Yes.
But there was a quiet time in between there and then. So let's go get it there.
Okay.
Before COVID. Before you even get into the music, let's introduce you as this lovely lady sitting next to me. Who is Jessica Dalla Torre?
So I was born in Johannesburg. I'm Portuguese, South African.
But you actually speak Portuguese
I speak
and
Portuguese
have the family.
fluently. I've got Portuguese family. Like here, we've only got one uncle, but everyone is in Portugal. My aunts, uncles, grandmother, cousins, everybody.
Okay.
So we do speak fluently. We're there with the family. We go visit.
And then you go marry yourself an Italian guy.
Yes, my husband's Italian, also born in Johannesburg. Italian descent, so his parents are from the north and south of Italy.
I mean, we're so clueless. To me, Portuguese and Italian sounds in the same direction.
Yeah.
You know, but
So our kids, we hope they're doing lessons in both languages, so hopefully they'll
So
be
they
able
do
to speak
English
fluently in both.
and
Yeah.
Portuguese. And can you guys do Afrikaans?
I try.
So there's like a
Yes,
lowercase
they're
there.
definitely doing it at school, and I do understand and read. I'm not so fluent because no one spoke Afrikaans in my family, but I do try.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. And that, like personality, you're not the quiet in the corner type, are you?
No, my husband is.
That's a good balance.
So we balance each other out. Yeah, I love speaking to people, meeting new people, talking,
And you loved your music so much, you made a career out of it.
Yes.
More
Well,
than-
not. It's more of a ministry. I don't like to call it a career because
Okay, but the singing and the recording, that's
Yes, that is
career-ish.
yeah, it is.
Nah, but the rest, you
Yes.
teach people to sing.
Yeah, my little kiddies. I've got a extramural called Singing Angels. So I love teaching children and encouraging them.
You should see
She
how
loves
soppy
singing.
she gets when she talks about the kid. What's the youngest one you've got?
Oh, her name's Gigi. She's 5.
Oh.
And she actually just turned 6.
And
She's
then
so
they
cute.
understand what you teach them at that
Yeah, it's
age.
so sweet. And they love me. Like they'll wait for me at their door and like the one little kid.
Auntie Jessica.
Yeah, and they bring me like presents and it's so sweet. Yeah.
Okay, so you just told me, and that was very interesting, that you can literally teach someone who can't hear the music, maybe even be tone deaf, to actually recognize a note.
Yeah, ear training can be fascinating. Your brain is a big machine, you know. It's like once you repeat things over and over, your brain eventually clicks, but you need the repetition. And eventually you'll hear it.
Because I'm trying to think now. Now you press the C, ding, press the C.
And then your brain will remember that it's C. Like you just got to keep remembering and repeating.
So people who come to you for vocal lessons now, are these now people who their mothers think they're going to be the next Taylor Swift or something? Or why do they come?
I just love encouraging kids to love music. You know, and just being a light to the kiddies is a big thing for me.
Okay.
But I think these kids, like, some want to be something, they want to be the big next thing, and some just love music. So I encourage whatever they want, you know,
And I'm sure
help them grow into that.
Exactly. And I'm sure it must be fun for you to work with people
It
who
is.
love the music you love so much.
Yeah, it is.
You also call it a ministry. Why?
What, my music?
Yeah, well, working with the kids as well.
I think it is a bit of a ministry because I'm shining my light, you know, being the salt of the earth.
Can you actually talk about Jesus while you're teaching them the notes?
Well, I indirectly I am encouraging.
Okay.
Like I know some kids come from different backgrounds, but a lot of them, I think, see the difference in me somehow, and they ask questions, especially my teens, which has been quite a amazing experience for me to plant those little seeds.
Yeah.
We just hope that they grow.
Because music is a supernatural thing.
There's a connection.
Absolutely.
So even though I'm singing like normal songs with the kids, and we're doing, the average vocal training and, some pop stuff and whatever. But sometimes we get a song that's a little bit more meaningful. It hits differently, I think, when your spirit is like, you know, connected to Jesus. There is a bit of a connection there.
I mean, music, besides the fact that God created the concept out of nothing, which right there blows my mind.
Yeah.
How do you think up a note
It's the whole
to
thing
make
is
a
just
melody?
it's like a heavenly dimension, I think, when we sing,
Yeah.
because it just takes you to another place. When you worship and praise, it's like you can be in the dumps that day and like feeling horrible, but you put on an encouraging song and it just picks you up.
Mm.
You're just transported into like another realm. Spiritually, music is so spiritual.
I mean,
You
you
know,
don't even need lyrics.
no, even just like instrumental, you know. If you add the lyrics, then even better.
Because I'm thinking my husband is he's just fascinated with nature. Nature's like his bridge.
Me too. I love nature.
Oh, okay.
If actually you'll see that in my music videos, I'm like singing in the most beautiful places. I'm so excited for you
But
to see them.
music is a bridge
But
too.
music and nature for me is I feel closer to God when I'm in His beautiful creation. Whether it's mountains or sea, or you can't help but feel like at awe at His beauty. Like how can He create such beauty? The sunsets, and I don't know. When I hike, I feel so close to God because I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful.
This is why she's so pretty. She's a hiker. Oh my goodness.
I love hiking.
But I'm thinking, when you create music, that is like a connection with God that the guy next to you doesn't have. I can't create music. But when you do, so you're literally creating something new. So when you've got something to say, you don't want to talk it. I want to talk it. I want to go, give me a mic and I'll do the talking. Nah?
Yeah.
But if you've got something to say, you want to put it to some lyric and
Yeah,
make it
and melody, and
yes, and it's
it just grows into something like.
so when you're doing this, when you're creating something with Jesus now, tell me about the experience.
I think it's definitely Holy Spirit led because you get this like nudge, like I think you need to write about this, or like so I start jotting everything down in my journal, like all the ideas of what's like pouring out.
How many journals do you have?
Oh gosh, you don't know how many journals I had over COVID. It was like I journaled every day because I thought, you know what, life was becoming so like the same. Every day just felt the same, and I wanted to go back on my notes and just make sure every day was defined, that it wasn't mushing into each other.
Yeah.
Because every day just felt the same.
So you process
when you're home,
life in a journal.
Yeah. So I was making notes every day, just writing down what I was feeling and, what was coming into my heart. I was reading scriptures and just writing all the notes down. And then melodies come and I record them on my voice notes.
Yeah.
So then I'll write lyrics and then sometimes I'll hear melodies and then I'll record it on my phone. And
Are you a piano player? How do you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but sometimes the melodies come without the piano and I just record it quickly on my phone, on my voice notes. And
Because
then I
you
go
tend to forget, no?
Yeah. Like sometimes a good melody, or I'll wake up with a melody. Like I'll be dreaming and then I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, that was a brilliant melody. I'm like half asleep and I'm like mumbling into my phone.
And your husband, shh,
and I'm trying to make sense of this melody when I'm like actually awake. But yeah, it's beautiful because, as I said, it's a spiritual, it's another dimension,
And then if you now you've got to choose between all your babies now because you've got a little bit here and a little bit there
yes,
and there.
it is
and now
difficult, yes,
to choose which one to
choose.
record.
Yes, it's like which one do I pick? Yeah, because I've just got so many.
So do you bounce them on your husband? Who's got the final say to say this one is a
so
good one?
people
Because
like close to me, like I'll play a few ideas and bounce them off a few people. Like, what do you think?
okay.
Shares one of them.
So have you got the little studio there in the background, or do you have to go to a studio to get this done?
No, so I wrote with Neil Engel. So he produced the album. And we sat together in my home, actually, with the piano and just putting down all the chords and, doing the pre-production and all of that, which was so much fun. It was a beautiful experience because it's like as we asked God to drop things into our heart, He just did it. It was like, and I get surprised, right?
Yeah.
But He always does it.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful journey that you go through from the pre-production, production, and being an independent artist. You have to really have faith
Yeah.
because you're doing everything on your own,
But doing a whole album,
from creative to marketing to
exactly.
everything. Yeah.
But doing a whole album, people don't do that anymore. People these days, they just do one song. So did you
Yeah.
just have that much to say or that much material after COVID or what?
Yeah, like I actually wanted more than the 5. So they're coming out slowly. The first one's Gospel is Jesus, as you heard previously. And then next one's Keep My Eyes on You, which you'll hear soon. And then the other 3 will come out in June. I did want more than that, but I'm waiting on God. I've got to be patient.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about waiting because of COVID. Like, we spoke just before COVID hit, and that's when I was getting out and singing and going to interviews for the Into Your Heart album, and then COVID hit and everything stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Like, everything just felt like it was happening.
You'd been building up now.
And then everything stopped.
Yeah.
It must be for a reason. I've just got to trust it.
Yeah.
So I was patient, and I wrote songs, and I saved some money, even in the hard times.
Just
So
God
we could
doesn't-
pay for this.
It feels like he wastes time, but he doesn't waste a
No.
second.
I think we just need to be okay with the waiting because we get impatient. We want things now, especially with our generation now. Everything's like that instant gratification, and everything's instant, and it's like so easy. It's a one click, and you got this, and everything's so quick. And we've got to almost like slow ourselves down and say that's not God's timing. If He doesn't want it now, then it's not now.
And that wasn't the only thing that was on hold. Just before COVID struck,
Yeah.
the grinder struck.
Oh,
No, you have to tell us because
so when I was last year, I was talking about how God gives you strength to get through like seasons of your life.
yes,
And we renovated our home for 4.5 years while living in it. So
yeah, we're doing the same thing. It's
Yeah.
not funny. Yeah.
So playing musical rooms for a few months, and then you trying to juggle the new release, which I had the Into Your Heart, and I was singing in places and moving around and ministering and going to churches and everything, and juggling the whole renovation. I was like, I was the everything, the fetch materials, the project manager, the designer, the everything. So I did a lot of work in it, but God gave me strength to get through it. And then my husband injured himself with the grinder and almost lost his hand. And then things get real, and you're like, wow. But he was faithful. He didn't lose his hand. Like, God really healed his hand. He didn't go through any other trauma. It could have been way worse. He struggled a lot with hand therapy and all of that, but I think he's made peace with having a hand that doesn't work 100%, but that he's still got his limbs, that he hasn't lost it all.
I'm just thinking in a family. Obviously, the kids were there. This was at home. He was at home, which is busy with the renovations and
Yeah.
everything. And this thing strikes, and it's got an effect on everyone in
Yeah,
the family.
it
How
really
did the
does.
kids handle this? By the way, it seems like
Shame
you
they
were
were
very
so
adultish.
little.
Yeah.
They were little.
Did they know what was going on?
Yeah, shame. Well, they were in the shower, and I called my dad to go to the house quick so I could rush him to emergencies. And then I had to phone them and say, "Oh, Daddy's in hospital, and his hand got cut." And didn't want to get too gruesome because they were little, because it was quite hectic.
Like hand hanging by a thread
Yeah,
is not funny. Yeah.
No, it was quite something. Obviously, when you struck with hard times, the only thing you can do is draw close to Him, right? Pray a lot,
Yeah.
ask Him for strength, healing, everything, and He does come through. Jesus really comforts us when we're feeling like we don't know what's coming next.
And then you were all at home because it's now COVID and everything like that.
Yes.
Was it precious for you as a family to have all of that time together, even though
Yeah.
life outside stops and you
Yeah,
can't
do
do
you know what?
anything?
It was a special time because I know it was a hard and difficult time to get through, like all the changes and everything stopping. And, I love running and being outdoors and hiking and whatever. So it was hard for me to not be able to run outside. I was running like a hamster around my house.
Yeah.
Like,
No, me too.
yeah, I was like,
100 times around.
yeah. And then you check my Strava and it's like, like circles, like going round and
I'm
round.
going to follow you on Strava.
And then it was like, I would listen to worship music. So I'd put worship music the whole day, like in my house, just to keep calm, not listen to the news, and just spend time with the family and keep focused on Jesus. And like, okay, if this is what's happening in the world, we're going to keep our eyes on you, and we're going to try keep positive and see the good in everything. So we would bake and spend time together and, read and do all the things we didn't have time for.
Yeah. Precious
Like I read the
times.
Bible in a year and did that whole, like, reading everything specifically and
Oh, a reading
spend time
plan.
spending time with the kids and reading the Bible with them, and we'd just sing around the kitchen. Thank God I had a kitchen before
You
before
finished
the shutdown.
renovating.
So we were baking and all of that. So it was special. It was hard times, obviously, because financially everyone was cutting down.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
the music industry shut down completely.
Yeah.
So
So now I want to ask you, we came through COVID, life was restored, everything goes on. It's amazing how resilient people are
I
when
know,
you're young now.
when you
and,
get through
and
it.
now we've got other challenges.
Yeah.
Big challenges that we're
Yeah.
facing right now. You just read the
Exactly.
news and you know
Yeah.
that people's got new
Yeah.
challenges. And we've got to play your song. I want to get to your song now
Okay.
to keep your eyes on you. I want to ask, speak to South Africa. Because you've learned a lot, you've been through a lot, you and the family, and where you are right now, what is on your heart to share with this country that you want to share through your music as well?
I just think we need to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. That I know the world is a bit of a mess. We know that there's wars and political issues and, instability and disease and all these things that we are faced with, even our personal battles. But if we just keep our eyes on him and we remain in him, he promised in John 15, he says, remain in me and I'll remain in you. So if you keep remaining in him, he will remain in you. So that's our strength. And his joy is our strength. His everything is our strength. He gives us that armor to put on every day so we can get through the battles, get through our ups and downs. And I don't know, he's everything. So if we keep our eyes on him and we stay positive, we can get through anything.
We're going to play this song, but I want them to follow you as well on social media, everywhere. So how do they follow you? Where do they go?
So I'm on all the platforms, all the social media platforms. It's at Jessica, so it's JESSICA DALLATORRE, so Jessica Dalla Torre. So on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and then all the songs are available on all digital platforms.
And can I just say, we're the first radio station to play this song.
I'm so
Man,
excited.
keep my eyes on you. Jessica Dalla Torre with Loyiso Nogal. Loyiso
Yeah.
doing very, very well. Have a listen to this.
I don't need to